I found a lump on my left breast, and it was obviously very alarming for me. I was very confused. I was actually already vegetarian. I was a vegetarian for 7 years before I became vegan, but I was still consuming like cheese once in a while. I already didn't drink milk. I don't remember, but I think I already switched to like soy milk. But once in a while, like when you eat a cake or whatever, you just don't know what's in it. So
You're not asking. But...
exactly. I cannot ask for like a list of ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
So that was actually the start of my plant-based journey. I got a biopsy about 2 weeks after I discovered the lump. They said that it's benign. It's like,
Oh, good.
great, you're free. You don't have to have surgery. We just have to monitor you every 6 months. And I said, great. And then I had my 6-month follow-up and it grew. So they said, okay, this is kind of strange because it's benign. Let's do another biopsy.
Okay.
They did another biopsy. It came back benign again. And basically, I went to see so many breast surgeons. I think I went to see 9 or 10, like the best ones in Cedars-Sinai. None of them could explain to me why it was growing. I mean, all of them just said, well, you need to have a surgery to remove it because we just, it says that it's benign, but we just don't know what it is because it keeps growing.
So cut it out.
So we're just gonna, take it out. And I asked them, I said, so what's gonna happen if it grows back? And then this one surgeon said, well, we just have to take it out again. And I just didn't think that it was a sustainable answer. It was definitely not an answer that I was hoping for. And literally nobody, I mean, I saw so many different doctors, not even just like breast specialists, but I saw other like GPs, and none of them was able to tell me what was wrong with me. They said maybe a hormone imbalance. But there was no advice as far as like diet change or lifestyle change or anything like that. So I actually went to seek the best naturopath in the country. She was in New York at the time. I actually flew to New York.
What's her name? If you want to,
her name is Maggie Anderson, but I feel like she's in either Thailand or India right now. She's no longer practicing in the U.S. I have another naturopath that I'm seeing on a regular basis right now in Santa Monica. But yeah, so I basically went to her. I transferred my files. She immediately told me you have to become vegan, like yesterday. Like without even, we didn't do any tests. I mean, she just like saw my records and said that you probably have an estrogen imbalance to the point that your body's creating these growths. And you need to stop the inflammation in your body, basically.
so it's from inflammation or the estrogen in the dairy?
I think the estrogen basically caused the inflammation in my body to rise
I see.
more than a normal person, more than in a normal person body. So it was like very confusing for me. I didn't really understand it. I did a lot of research. I was online for hours and hours at night because I was so confused. I didn't know who to trust. And I just wanted to make sure that, I mean, I don't mind going to surgery, but I want to make sure that we find the root cause of what's causing it, basically. So basically she said, you have to become vegan. And I remember that moment when I got off the plane. I went to my house. I took all of the food in my fridge. I dropped it off at the food bank. I went to Whole Food and I bought everything vegan, like literally overnight.
Yeah, I think I read something where you became vegan in 20 hours.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically. And when you have a huge lump on your breast, I mean, you really don't have the luxury of transitioning slowly. Or, I mean, for me, it was very important that I get healthy again. And I don't care what I had to give up. I mean, it wasn't a struggle at all for me, because it's funny, every time I'm doing an interview, they always ask me like, was it a struggle because you did it in such a short amount of time? And it really wasn't. Like, everything felt so natural to me. Like, I like the taste of vegan food so much better. Like, I like vegan milk much better than regular milk, just even from the perspective of taste, without even knowing like the health benefits or anything, but just like naturally I felt good eating the food that I started to eat.
And
what
such an
happened?
intense purpose behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is going to drive us. Go ahead.
I just was wondering, so when you did give up, I shouldn't say give up, you actually gained, but when you gained all this beautiful food into your life as a vegan, what happened with the lump?
So what happened is, not only I had to become vegan, I had to avoid soy, which was very tricky because of soy is a very, it's a staple item in the vegan diet. So
in the vegan food,
so they wanted you to stay away
meats and things, right?
Right. Or like tofu. Like every time I go to a restaurant, they always ask
So they wanted you to stay away from phytoestrogens and estrogens. They just really wanted
like
it
cut
all
it
out because it was.
And
okay.
I cannot do like, I have to be gluten-free immediately. So like literally it was
Wow.
like a lot of like green juices. I mean like 10-day of cleansing, 10 days, green juices. Like I didn't eat a single thing for 10 days. I felt amazing. I mean, I felt horrible like the second and third day, but once I finished the 10-day period, oh my goodness, it was like I had a new body. I mean, I just felt so much lighter. I lost weight, and just everything just felt right. Whereas before that, I felt like there was something wrong in my body, but I just didn't know what it was. Like I didn't really have the knowledge to like basically assess my own health. And so I did that. So I did a cleanse, and then I started incorporating like whole food, plant-based diet. Like I don't do all the junk, like the junk food, like I mean, you can be vegan, but still very unhealthy. So I basically ate like raw salad in the morning. I tried to eat raw at night. I would give myself one cooked meal during the day. That's primarily vegetables. So I did that for maybe about 4 months before my next 6-month checkup. My lump went from 4 centimeters to 2 centimeters.
Oh, after it had been growing for a long time, now it receded.
It basically started.
There you go.
It was a miracle. I couldn't believe it. I mean, my doctor was shocked.
Your regular
My breast
doctor.
doctor was looking at me like, what have you been doing?
And when you told your doctor what you had been doing, what did your doctor say?
She said that she has been advising her patients. She's a breast cancer surgeon. So she said that she has been advising her patients, not necessarily to go vegan, but to give up dairy. I don't know if it was like, because she didn't give that advice to me. But so I don't know if she just recently discovered that right before I saw her or something, but because that advice would have been very helpful for me. But I didn't really get that until I actually went to see a naturopath, basically.
It reminds me of the parable, and I'll probably butcher it, but it just goes something like there's a pond of fish, and they all start growing different tumors, whether cancerous or benign, and we just keep cutting them off, and nobody ever stops to ask what's in the water.
Exactly.
And that's
precisely
the same thing as what you're explaining. Like, it's like, oh, we'll just keep cutting it out. What if it grows back? We'll just keep cutting it out. It's like, excuse me?
Right.
You're going to keep cutting open my body? What if that were your body? Then they'd probably start asking the questions.
For myself, I mean, at the size that my tumor was at, I would have had to have a partial mastectomy because it was, the size of it was huge, even though it was not cancerous.
Yeah.
So when I basically when the size was reduced to a manageable size, then I immediately went for surgery to kind of remove it.
And this was 4 years ago?
No, that my surgery was maybe about 3 years.
Oh, okay. And it hasn't come back?
It hasn't come back. I do have what they call like little benign growths, less
Cystic
than 1
breast.
Yeah, like less than 1 centimeters. So I guess the rule is unless it reaches 2 centimeters, you're basically.
It's like fibrous tissue.
Fibrous tissue.
I have
exactly.
a lot of that too, for whatever reason.
I mean, and I'm still trying to get my estrogen under control. It's an everyday, battle for me, to be very honest.
Because it's part genetics. I mean, you just respond to it or maybe produce. Okay.
Yeah. So I need to always look for, the right things to eat, not just vegan, but like going a step further, soy-free, gluten-free, no sugar. I mean,
wow, that's a challenge. And you also, as a ballet dancer, you train. So how did your body react when you became vegan and got so much healthier?
Yeah.
But you have
I lost a lot of weight. My ballet teacher was very happy about that. I was never born with like the perfect long, like ballet body. But I noticed immediately that my skin cleared up, and I had a very problematic skin before that. So that was the first basically sign that I got. But definitely, like taking a 3-hour ballet class was no longer a problem for me. Before I was always like out of breath, or like by the end of class I would be tired or cranky or irritable, and it just wasn't a problem at all. Like my endurance, my stamina, everything, like my energy level is much more constant instead of like hitting like the highs and the lows throughout the day. So the benefits were amazing, and I've had like other dancers come up to me and ask me like, what did you do, like what kind of changes did you make? And it's great to be able to share with the same people in your profession that you don't have to like eat meat and dairy in order to be an athlete.
Hey folks, okay, back by very popular demand is our plant-powered plate fridge magnet, which you are going to receive for free if you leave us a rating and a review on whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on. So here are the details. Just write your quick review. Does not need to be long, does not need to be a whole story. Just be honest and speak from the heart. Then take a quick screenshot of the review you wrote and email it to us at podcast@switchforgood.org. That's podcast@switchforgood.org. And include your mailing address so we can send you a power plate. We are doing this because the more reviews we garner, the higher we go in search results, which means more folks will learn about our podcast. So the power is in your hands. Leave us a review and zoom, your power plate arrives at your doorstep.
So thank you so much for tuning in today. If we helped you in any way, then click the subscribe button and let's keep hanging out together. We have so much more to share with you.
And if you need more information on actually making the switch for good, please visit us at switchforgood.org for loads of info. And you can subscribe to our mailing list where you will receive all sorts of super cool gifts, discount codes to our very fave dairy-free products, and a lifetime of powerful health tips.
So join us on the journey to switch for good. This is the future.